Most people trying to protect their bones after 60 are doing one thing. They're increasing their calcium. Maybe they switched to yogurt for breakfast. Maybe they added milk. And they feel like they've done their part. Here's what most of them don't know. Calcium, by itself, does not automatically travel to your bones. There is a nutrient, vitamin K2, that activates a protein in your body called osteocalcin. Osteocalcin acts as a routing signal. When K2 is present, that protein is activated, and calcium is directed into bone tissue. When K2 is missing, osteocalcin is inactive, and a meaningful portion of that calcium circulates without a clear destination. The Rotterdam Study, a long-term Dutch study following 4,807 adults over 55, found that those with the highest dietary intake of vitamin K2 had a 50% reduction in arterial calcification, a 50% reduction in cardiovascular risk, and a 25% reduction in all-cause mortality. Not vitamin K1, which is what leafy greens contain, specifically vitamin K2, found in aged cheese, egg yolk, and fermented foods. K2 routes calcium toward bone and away from soft tissue. Researchers call it the calcium paradox, which means the question isn't just how much calcium you're eating, it's whether your body knows where to send it. Today, I'm giving you a complete meal plan built on that principle. 4 nutrients working together at the right amounts across a full day. Calcium, vitamin D, vitamin K2, and magnesium. Every meal, every snack, every reason. By the end of this, you'll know exactly what to eat, when, and why. Before the meals, the baseline, because most seniors are significantly below target on the 2 nutrients that matter most, and they genuinely don't know it. According to the CDC's National Health and Nutrition Examination Survey, the largest ongoing nutrition study in the United States, 12.6% of adults over 50 have osteoporosis, and 43.1% have low bone mass. That's 13 million people with osteoporosis and nearly 48 million with bones already on the way there. And globally, researchers Jonell and Canis, publishing in Osteoporosis International, calculated that osteoporosis causes more than 8.9 million fractures every year, 1 every 3 seconds. 1 in 3 women over 50 will fracture a bone as a result of osteoporosis. 1 in 5 men. The NIH recommends 1,200 milligrams of calcium per day for women over 50 and all adults over 70. But here's the absorption detail most advice skips. The NIH's own calcium fact sheet confirms that your body absorbs calcium most efficiently in doses of 500 milligrams or less at a sitting. A dose of 300 milligrams absorbs at roughly 36%. A dose of 1,000 milligrams absorbs at only 28%, which means 1 large calcium load is less efficient than 2 or 3 smaller ones spread across the day. And for vitamin D, which is what allows your body to absorb that calcium in the first place, the recommendation for adults over 70 is 800 IU per day. Without adequate vitamin D, your body absorbs only 10 to 15% of dietary calcium. In a vitamin D sufficient state, that rises to 30 to 40%. The same calcium, the same food, absorbed at double or triple the rate, just by having enough vitamin D alongside it. One more number worth knowing. Skin synthesis of vitamin D declines by roughly 50% between the ages of 20 and 70. By the time you're in your 70s, sun exposure alone is producing roughly half the vitamin D it once did. This is why food sources matter more with age, not less. So the meal plan today is built on 4 pillars: calcium in the right amounts, at the right spacing; vitamin D to enable its absorption; vitamin K2 to direct it to bone; and magnesium to support the metabolism that converts all of it into actual bone tissue. Before the meals, 2 quick notes. First, if you take blood thinners, specifically warfarin, please speak with your doctor before significantly increasing foods high in vitamin K2. Vitamin K in any form affects how warfarin works, and your physician needs to know about dietary changes. Second, this is a meal plan for osteoporosis prevention, not a substitute for medical treatment if you've been diagnosed. Think of it as the nutritional foundation your doctor would want you to have. All right, let's eat. Your first meal does 2 jobs at once. It starts the calcium count, and it delivers 2 of the 4 nutrients your bones need in the same sitting. Start with a cup of plain Greek yogurt. 1 cup provides approximately 200 to 250 milligrams of calcium. Pair it with a tablespoon of chia seeds. 1 ounce of chia seeds delivers 179 milligrams of calcium and 111 milligrams of magnesium. The same magnesium that, according to a 2022 meta-analysis published in the journal Bone by Gronendijk and colleagues, is positively associated with hip and femoral neck bone mineral density in older adults. Add a handful of blueberries. The antioxidants reduce the low-grade inflammation that quietly accelerates bone loss. On the side, 2 scrambled eggs. This is where vitamin K2 enters breakfast. Egg yolks contain MK4, the short-chain form of vitamin K2. They also contain approximately 88 IU of vitamin D across 2 eggs. Vitamin D and K2 in the same food, working alongside the calcium in your yogurt, that combination is what this meal plan is built around. For a drink, choose a fortified plant milk, almond, soy, or oat. The NIH confirms that fortified plant milks provide approximately 300 milligrams of calcium and 100 to 144 IU of vitamin D per 8-ounce glass. Check the label for fortification before you buy. Not all plant milks are fortified, and the difference matters. Between breakfast and lunch, take a 20-minute walk. Not primarily for cardiovascular fitness, for your skeleton. Bone is living tissue. It responds to mechanical load. When you bear weight through your skeleton, bone cells receive a signal to build and maintain. Without that signal, even a perfect diet can only slow loss. It cannot reverse it. The Cochrane Review on Exercise for Osteoporosis confirmed that weight-bearing and resistance exercise are the most effective interventions for preserving bone mineral density. Walk outside if possible. Natural sunlight helps your skin produce vitamin D, supporting what you just ate at breakfast. 20 minutes, moderate pace. This one habit, done daily, does something no meal can replicate. Lunch is where the real bone density work happens. This is where we stack the 2 highest calcium whole foods outside of supplementation, and where vitamin K2 re-enters through food. The anchor: canned sardines with bones. A 3-ounce serving provides approximately 325 milligrams of calcium, confirmed by the NIH Office of Dietary Supplements. That is more calcium than a glass of milk, in a small tin that costs less than $2. Sardines also deliver vitamin D and omega-3 fatty acids in the same serving. If you only add one new food from this entire video, let it be sardines. Pair them with a generous portion of cooked collard greens or kale. Here is the distinction you need to know. Spinach appears to be a high calcium food. It contains roughly 240 milligrams per cooked cup. But research by Connie Weaver and colleagues, published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, found that calcium from spinach is very poorly absorbed, largely because it exists as calcium oxalate, a form your body cannot efficiently use. Collard greens, by contrast, provide approximately 268 milligrams of calcium per cooked cup, at a much higher absorption rate, comparable to dairy. Kale provides 94 to 177 milligrams per cooked cup at similarly favorable absorption. Cook them in olive oil. The fat helps absorb the fat-soluble vitamins alongside them. Add a small portion of aged hard cheese, Parmesan or cheddar. Aged cheeses are among the most concentrated natural sources of vitamin K2, specifically the MK8 and MK9 forms produced during fermentation. The Rotterdam study researchers identified dietary menaquinone, the K2 in aged cheese and fermented foods, as the form specifically associated with lower arterial calcification. K1 from leafy greens showed no such association. K2 from aged cheese and fermented foods did. A slice of whole grain bread on the side rounds out the meal and contributes to your magnesium intake. Some of you are thinking, you've been watching health content for years and never heard vitamin K2 mentioned alongside calcium. That's not an accident. The research on K2's specific role, distinct from K1, is more recent, and it hasn't made its way into the standard eat more dairy advice most of us grew up with. That gap is exactly what this channel exists to close. 2 things for your afternoon snack: a small handful of almonds and 5 to 6 prunes. 1 ounce of almonds, approximately 23 almonds, delivers 80 milligrams of magnesium, according to the NIH. Magnesium is required to convert vitamin D into its active hormonal form. Without it, vitamin D cannot fully do its job. The prunes are not optional. In 2022, researchers led by D'Souza, Williams, and colleagues at Penn State published the definitive prune bone study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition. 235 postmenopausal women, average age 62, were randomized to eat either 50 grams of dried plums, about 5 to 6 prunes, or 100 grams daily, or neither, for 12 months. The women eating 50 grams per day showed significantly better preservation of total hip bone mineral density, a loss of only 0.3% compared to 1.1% in the control group. The lower dose worked just as well as the higher one, with far better adherence. These are not exotic supplements. They are prunes, 5 or 6 per day. The research is clear. Dinner's job is to close the nutritional loop, filling in whatever the day hasn't yet delivered, and giving your body the raw materials it needs to maintain bone overnight. Bone remodeling, the continuous process by which your body breaks down old bone and lays down new, happens around the clock, including while you sleep. Giving your body calcium and vitamin D in the evening means it has working materials available during that overnight cycle. The protein anchor, a piece of baked sockeye salmon. 3 ounces of cooked sockeye salmon delivers 570 IU of vitamin D, confirmed by the NIH Office of Dietary Supplements. That single serving takes most older adults close to their daily vitamin D target. Salmon also provides omega-3 fatty acids that reduce the systemic inflammation contributing to bone loss, and high-quality protein. Roughly 50% of bone volume is collagen and structural protein, and adequate protein is essential to maintaining it. On the side, bok choy and broccoli. Bok choy is a low oxalate green, providing approximately 158 to 185 milligrams of calcium per cooked cup at milk-comparable absorption. Broccoli provides around 62 to 76 milligrams per cup, alongside vitamin K and additional magnesium. A medium sweet potato adds potassium, which research suggests reduces urinary calcium excretion, plus more magnesium. Finish dinner with a small glass of fortified plant milk, one final calcium contribution as your body begins its overnight repair cycle. Here's what the day actually delivers, and why the spacing matters as much as the total. Breakfast, 650 to 700 milligrams of calcium. Lunch, 700 to 800 milligrams. Afternoon snack and dinner, approximately 500 milligrams combined. Total, well above the 1,200 milligram daily target, split across the day in doses your body can actually absorb efficiently. Vitamin D from eggs, sardines, fortified milk, and salmon. Vitamin K2 from egg yolk, aged cheese, and salmon. Magnesium from chia, almonds, greens, and salmon. One thing this plan also avoids, and it's worth knowing. Research published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition by Tucker and colleagues followed 1,413 women from the Framingham Osteoporosis study and found that daily cola consumption was associated with femoral neck bone density 3.7% lower than in women who rarely drank cola. Not all carbonated drinks, specifically cola. If you drink cola daily, that is, the one dietary habit the research most consistently identifies as harmful to bone density after 60. The problem with most bone health advice is that it stops at calcium. Drink more milk. Take a calcium supplement. And for millions of seniors, that hasn't been enough. Because calcium without its cofactors is like a building material that arrives at a construction site with no workers to place it. Vitamin D opens the door. Magnesium runs the machinery. And vitamin K2, the nutrient almost nobody is talking about, activates the protein that tells calcium where to go. This meal plan gives you all of it, from whole foods across a full day in amounts the research supports. Greek yogurt and eggs at breakfast. Sardines and collard greens at lunch. Almonds and prunes in the afternoon. Salmon and bok choy at dinner. And a 20-minute walk between breakfast and lunch that sends your skeleton a signal no food can replicate. You don't have to change everything tomorrow. Pick one meal from today, just one, and build it into your week. The research on osteoporosis prevention is consistent about one thing above all. It is the small, sustained changes made daily over months and years that actually move the number on a bone density scan. Before you go, pull out your phone right now and save one thing. Open your notes and write sardines, aged cheese, egg yolk, K2 foods. That's the list. When you're at the supermarket this week, it's already in your notes. That one habit, adding K2 foods to what you're already eating, is the piece most bone health advice never tells you about. Now I want to hear from you. Which of the 4 nutrients we covered today, calcium, vitamin D, vitamin K2, or magnesium, are you already focusing on? And which one surprised you most? Tell me in the comments below. And tell me your age. Your answer shapes what this channel covers next, and it may be exactly what another viewer needed to read. And one more thing. This plan covers what to eat, but diet only maintains the raw materials. There is a specific form of resistance training, studied in the Liftmore trial, published in the Journal of Bone and Mineral Research, that was found to actually improve bone mineral density in postmenopausal women with osteoporosis. Not just slow the loss, improve it. It takes less than 30 minutes twice a week. That is the subject of our next video. Subscribe to Senior Health Mastery so you don't miss it. Every week, we cover the health information your doctor doesn't have time to explain, backed by real published research, built specifically for adults over 60 who want to stay strong, sharp, and independent. That is the only thing we do here, and you deserve nothing less. take good care of yourself.